Da liegt die 1.11.24, 1.11.20. Außer Bahnarbeiter, alle runter von der Bankina bitte. Alle runter von der Bankina. Wenn reicht 20 Sekunden, Matten sind gelegt.
But you're there. I'm trying to be patient with myself too, sis. Good luck. Thanks.
Die Wechsel wieder mal im Hausschuh. Wechsel wieder mal.
Moritz in Switzerland in the sunny Engadine Valley, Saturday morning, and it is Monobob time for the second time this weekend. World Cup number 6 of the IBSF series this year, and 19 sleds will go in our second and deciding heat. The top 20 now losing Melanie Hasler, who's pulled out because of a back injury. In a massively tight lead group, basically second down to 6, covered by 0.06 of a second. Third place, yesterday's bronze medalist, Keisha Love. Now she lies 0.14 off the lead. 0.13 off the lead is the double world champion in women's monobob, Lara Nolte. Sick as a dog yesterday, barely finished in the top 10. A much better run here today with a great start as well. 9th yesterday, 2nd at the moment, and still looking like death warmed up. But at the top of the pile is yesterday's race winner for the first time in her career, a monobob gold medalist, Alana Myers-Taylor, in her happy place. 2013, 12 years ago. Her now husband Nick Taylor proposed to her. Marriage and 2 kids, and still knocking it out of the park, Alana Myers-Taylor. But look at the gap. Nolte, Keisha Love, Deborah Annan, Kim Kalicki, not out of the equation, Brianna Walker or Kaylee Humphries. Maybe even Cynthia Appiah could make it into the top 4 or 5. Who knows? There were lots of changes in the second heat yesterday. Mel Hasler will not go. She had a sore back yesterday. Today, clearly no less sore. And behind Ying Qing, Bianca Ribby and the rest watching the action from trackside, they did not make it through into the second and deciding heat. Well, up on the sunshine outside the Gunter Sachs Lodge, lots of fans watching in a garage. Alana, interesting limbering up exercises. There's Keisha Love, the other athletes in this covered garage. This is relatively new, last 7 or 8 years that this has been here. Otherwise it was up and down a snowy, gravelly track. Brianna Walker in the medals yesterday with a silver. Kaylee Humphries, Kaylee in contention as well, 3300s out in 7th place. That could be interesting. Margot Bock from France, she had a really good first run as well. 4/10 back in 4th place, in 9th place rather. And Sylvia Hoffman made it into the race yesterday in 20th place. Today in 15th position. So here's our start draw. Ying Qing goes off first. She was 20th in Heat 1. Then Andrea Grecu and Kelly van Petegem were tied. Andrea tied the time set by Kelly, so Kelly goes second of those. And last out will be the current leader, as ever, Alana Myers-Taylor. Race 6 of the IBSF Monobob World Cup in Moritz in Switzerland, getting the second and deciding heat underway. Day 2 of action here for Monobob. China's Ying Qing. Finished in 18th place yesterday. 8th place last year in the race. 5.96 getaway, started 5.92 in the first heat. Nice smooth run through kink 1 and kink 2, down to wall. And out of wall, straight into snake 1 and snake 2. Little tap on the left coming down into horseshoe. You try and avoid that if you can. Try and avoid skidding out of horseshoe into Nash and Dixon. And then avoid the wall on the way down to horseshoe. Good height. And a nice quiet entry into telephone, little late onto Shamrock. Avoids the tap into Devil's Dyke. Out of Nameless. She'll come into the fast 4 right-handers. Tree, bridge, leap. And then the Gunter Sachs curve on the straight down to Martineau. Across the crest to run. And into Portago, the final corner. Across the line at 1:11.91, 1:12.09 in the first heat. So a slight improvement for Ying-Ching. Not sure that she's going to match yesterday's 18th place finish, and certainly not last year's 8th place finish. But she is back in the World Cup after missing the first part of the season. Good height in horseshoe. Rolls it off nicely into telephone. Named after the old field telephone there, the old sort of wind-up style that used to be on the tree, where if you crashed, you'd phone up and ask for the ambulance, if you could still move. Second up then, Andreea Grecu of Romania. 2400s in hand over Ying-Ching. Beg your pardon, 1400s in hand over Ying-Ching. And she was in a dead heat with Kelly van Petegem, 585, so outstarts her Chinese rival. 85 in the first heat was 9th fastest getaway. Well, Andreea yesterday missed the cut entirely, only 22nd, and it was the first in 19 World Cup starts in Monobob where she had not even been in the top 10. Never mind, not made the cut. She only just scraped in again today. For some reason, she's really not gelling with the track well in the Monobob yesterday or today. Building her lead, but only tiny little margins ahead of Ying-Ching. 2500s ahead from the start. Second best speed. She'll barely match Ying-Ching's time on this run. 1:11.77, well, a little quicker. So she went out from 2500s at the start to 2800s ahead of the Chinese slider at the bottom. Just 400ths of a second faster than Ying-Ching. Not really two great days at the Monobob office for Andreea, and she will be as perplexed as anybody else as to why it's just not working for her here. She is a good driver. A third of all her races have been in the top 6, all but one in the top 10. And yesterday was a real anomaly. Today, I'm afraid, is again. Kelly van Petegem also a little lower than she would have expected after yesterday, I think. And she will definitely be hoping for a little bit more pace. Out second in the start draw, not really advantageous in Heat 1. And the track will probably get quicker as the morning goes on, so not an advantage in Heat 2 either. 595. Normally when you start early on an artificial track, you have the benefit of a nice fresh spritz of ice, which is like the Zamboni. It smooths out all the rough stuff and fills the tiny little gaps and takes away all the tiny little loose bits of ice that get in the way of the runners and cause friction. But here, early is not good. Little tap going down into Sunny, and she again double tags all the way down into Horseshoe. She's done that on every run so far. She needs to get Nash and Dixon sorted in ahead. Skidding from Shamrock to Devil's Dyke. 1600s back. So this will break the tie with Andreea Grecu. Not as good a second run as she needed, not as good as her first run was. Best speed at the bottom. And across the line, races ahead maybe a little before they get to the line, actually. 1:11.89, so a whisker quicker than Ying-Ching of China, but not as quick as Andreea Grecu. So that tie is broken. Grecu leads. Van Petegem second, and Ying is third. Well, disappointing always to slip back. And again, you see, sled is moving around a lot, sliding around a lot behind the front runners. And she's not the tallest athlete, and you don't want to put more weight in the sled than you have to, because it's harder then to get a start from it. Off goes Victoria Chernanska. 22nd fastest start in the first heat, drove herself into 17th. 6:16, even slower than her 6:13 first start. And that will be the slowest start in this second heat, unless somebody has an absolute nightmare. And so Victoria's advantage here in St Moritz is that she gels well with the track, knows and likes it. Youth Olympic silver medalist here in the Games in 2020. She made the cut. Youth Olympic gold medalist Georgieta Popescu of Romania did not. Smooth from Telephone into Shamrock, but half a second back. Nice smooth lines here again. Still trying to unwind that start deficit. And she starts 0.3 of a second slower than Andreea Grecu. And Grecu not the fastest starter in the business either. Third best speed. Is she going to be ahead of Ying Qing at the line? She is not. 1:12.19 is the run. Well, I'm afraid that was Lucia Makrosova, her brakewoman. I'm afraid with that first heat she would not made the race at all. So luckily that was her second heat. She slips to the tail of the field. She'll be no worse than 20th. Yesterday 19th place. Last year 12th. I like all of these tracks. Sometimes you just have your head around it and sometimes you just don't. Next up, Great Britain's Adele Nicol. 16th place after the first of the two heats. And still running injured after slicing a foot open with the sled just before Christmas. In and down. 5:93, 5:97 in the first heat, and her speed is gradually coming back after racing yesterday morning like an awful lot actually. She went down to the frozen lake in the centre of St Moritz. The annual polo contest is on at the moment. Went down with her mum and enjoyed a day out or an afternoon out at the horses. 600's up, 700's faster at the start than Andreea Grecu. Just avoids the wall, that was fortunate. Good height in horseshoe, nice exit. Best speed of all for Adele Nicol. One of the less experienced drivers, only her 10th World Cup in Monobob. This is the 22nd Monobob World Cup race. Started in World Cup racing last year in mono and women's. And best speed at the bottom. Nice looking run, 1:11.60, 2/10 better than her first heat, and it looked it. Big smile from Graham Richardson. Didn't realise everybody had gone ginger. Is that a thing now in British bobsleigh? That's Graham Richardson hasn't. I mean, he's virgin that way anyway, but Adele Nicol blasting it out of the blocks.
Hoffman starting 10 seconds.
Drives it down from late height in horseshoe into Telephone. Nicely done. Right, so she is in the leader's box after the first 5 sleds. Sylvia Hoffman, first off in yesterday's race, finished in 20th place in the first heat and then clawed her way up into 16th spot. But after the first heat today, in 15th position, she had a more favourable, slightly later start draw today. 5.70, nice strong start. Fastest of all in the first heat with a new start record, 5.69. 5.70 is going to be probably the fastest start in the second competition, or second run of the competition, unless Lisa Bukvitz has something in Heat 2 for us. Little tap, Little skiddy through Snake, tap going into Sunny. Needs to avoid the wall here, does so. Not the biggest height, but comes out cleanly into Telephone. Nicely through Shamrock onto Devil's Dyke. 6th best speed. Now this is where her speed started to sag in the first heat. And again, 6th best speed, just 200ths ahead of Adele Nicol from a quarter of a second up. This is going to be close. She's dropping behind though. Just doing a little too much work perhaps in the sled below Horseshoe. Only to be expected, 1:11.88. And again, Sylvia, even less experience on ice as a driver than her rival Adele Nicol. Adele, this is her 10th Monobob World Cup, and Sylvia Hoffman in her 8th. Sylvia only started driving at the beginning of last year. And sliding off the turns in Snake, little tap going down into Sunny.
I don't know where to stop.
Now then, Linda Wyszewski, yesterday 5th after the first heat, slipped to 13th place, finds herself in 13th place after the first of the 2 heats. So, can she improve on that? Well, yesterday was her best race result in St. Moritz and her 2nd best ever in a World Cup Monobob race. Her previous best, a 12th place in Innsbruck. Let's see if she can improve on that here. 5.90. Now, everybody who's already gone will automatically make up a place because there's no Mel Hasler in what would have been 14th. But for everybody else now, the absentee is behind you, not in front. Wyszewski 1800s up, clinging on to her early lead over Adele Nicol. Nice run down to Horseshoe, decent height. Sounded okay onto Telephone. 2nd best speed, still just clinging on in front of the current leader Adele Nicol. 1200s, only the 3rd best speed. This is going to be close at the line. There's a lot of ice to cover, but she's very close in terms of speed. 5th best, maybe not enough. Could be 100th or 2 in it at the line. Is it Wyszewski? It is, 700s. Well, 1:11.65, just in front. 500 slower than Adele Nicol. So her first heat advantage is what kept her in there. Started faster than her British rival as well. Not sure that'll be the case by the time we get to the World Championships in 7 or 8 weeks. I think by that stage Adele's recovery will be more or less complete. Fast away, Lisa Buchwitz. Let's see if the 5:69 start record comes under attack. It does, but not quite close enough. 5:70 for Lisa Buchwitz. Well, Buchwitz with 3 wins and a silver medal before yesterday, then a 4th place finish yesterday. Not at all pleased with herself to be down in 3rd at 12th place. Tap going into Sunny. Now she's not flowing the way that she normally does. And that's maybe just a degree of frustration. She nearly wrecked it out of Horseshoe twice yesterday. Didn't have a good exit of Horseshoe in the first heat. That was better. Tail of the sled still moving around a little. Best speed of all in the forest. 4/10 over Linda Wyszewski. But she was 5800ths off the lead. Is this going to be a new track record for Lisa Buchwitz? Not quite. 1:11.12. Well, that's 8 tenths away from the fastest run down yesterday, which was A 1:10.32 set by Alana Myers-Taylor.
30 seconds.
You just heard Kevin Kuska saying 70, Lisa. That's her start, 5.70. Watch again the tail, a little bit like we saw from Catty Byle, like from Kelly van Petegem. The tail of the sled just moving around too much. Yeah, second one was better. How much better? Well, we'll find out in a moment, won't we? Because this is Melissa Lotholtz of Canada. She was in 11th after the first heat, 400s ahead of Book-Witz. Digs in, drives off the block. Former brakewoman turned driver, so as we see so often, that different style of pushing from the back handles. If you start as a driver, you're not familiar with it when you come to Monobob. But if you start as a brakewoman, then it's like second nature. 700s back at the start, 1100 slower than Book-Witz at the start. So her 400ths of a second first heat advantage evaporated away from the block. Good looking run from Nash and Dixon down to Horseshoe. Not huge height in Horseshoe. Out of Shamrock skids. Gets neatly onto Devil's Dyke though, but losing a little bit of speed. Book-Witz has not been the fastest through the speed traps, but again Melissa Lotholtz losing more speed than her German rival. First to second is 5500s. 7th best speed at the bottom, and she only just slips in second place, 1:11.63. Little applause there from Lyndon Rush and from Neville Wright. Only 800s ahead of Poland's Linda Wajszewski. Bit more height wouldn't go amiss in Horseshoe, and then again bringing it early out of Shamrock, or bringing it late out of Shamrock, holding the nose up. Tail wasn't playing that game at all. So Catty Byle, 10th place after the first heat. 9 to go from here in. Catty finished in 12th place yesterday, 18th place last year. Can she seal this top 10 result? 585 getaway, 587 in the first heat. 5th best velocity from the 4th best start so far. Not ideal through kink 1 then. 200s behind Lisa Book-Witz at the start. Out to 600s back now. Well, Lisa started 1500ths of a second quicker, and Catty had 1300ths of a second in hand, so it'll take a while to come back to parity with Book-Witz, and now is where she starts to do it. All little skiddy, Telephone, Shamrock, Devil's Dyke, all over the place. She was in the lead, she had the advantage coming down out of Horseshoe, and that has all gone away, skidding around in the forest still. Maybe she just likes the way the sled drives like that, but it's costing her speed. She drops behind Book-Witz at the line by 3/10. Well, that top 10 not guaranteed. Catty Byle second with 9 to go, 12th yesterday. A little early on the brakes, has to push it in herself. Well, here, look, in the forest, all over the place. The rear of the sled is actually doing the driving here, not the driver. She's trying to hold the line she wants, rear of the sled having none of it. So Lisa Buchwitz, the leader, from Katy Beil, and Melissa Lott holds 10 down, 9 to go here in St. Moritz. Margot Bock of France with a 9th place run in the first heat. Good stuff from the woman who finished in equal 14th yesterday with Kelly van Petegem. Van Petegem currently 8th of our 10 sleds, so Margot does not want to end up tying with her today. 5:92 getaway, 6:01 in the first heat. Wow! Nearly a 1/10 of a second improvement. Like a Florida grandmother, looking around the wheel to see where she's going. She's not tall, she sits low in the sled and as far back as she can to try and shift weight onto the back axle, stop it skating around too much. It does mean that she's looking around the cowl of her Ixent sled all the way down. Having a stretch up to see Horseshoe. Just saw the minibus that picks up the Cresta Run sliders there at the Horseshoe. 2100's back, oh, and in all sorts of trouble as well. Below Telephone, skating through Shamrock and Devil's Dyke. 9th best speed. Well, she was 5th at the start, up to 3rd, but she's not going to overhaul Lisa Buchwitz. She may slip behind Katy Beil as well. Going to be close at the line with Beil, ducks ahead, and she is behind Katy Beil. So Lisa Buchwitz pulling herself up the order. So 3rd with 8 to go. What's that? 11th, no worse than 11th for Margot Bock. She was 14th yesterday. 11th in Heat 1, she slipped back. She normally comprehensively outdrives her start. And here, below Horseshoe, again, look, sliding around late into Shamrock, late into Devil's Dyke, got fired across to the other side of the track. Devil's Dyke looks so inoffensive until you get it wrong. Cynthia Appiah then, 3rd fastest of our starters, 8th place after the first heat, 10th place finisher yesterday. She and Lara Nolte, the only women who have done every one of the Monobob World Cup races so far. 5:73, couple of hundreds quicker than her first heat. Well, you heard the announcer there confirming only 300 slower at the start than Lisa Buchwitz, so most of her first heat 0.2 of a second advantage remained intact, but Buchwitz's greater velocity eats into that all the way down to Sunny. Oh, a tap on the way to Nash and Dixon that she could ill afford. Must avoid the wall here, doesn't. Chaos ensues. Hard hit off Horseshoe into Telephone, hits Shamrock. Gathering it all back up now, but the speed is gone. In free fall now. Out to 6th position. This is not the run she was looking for. And it all started going wrong from Snake. Taps all the way down, 8th at the line, only the 12th fastest run. She is our 13th sled. When it goes wrong here, it's minimal, but it goes wrong in a big way, and it's just... You got to feel for it, haven't you? Look here, out of Sunny, little tap into Nash and Dixon, and out of Nash and Dixon gets that bit that sticks out of the wall, worse than anybody has all weekend in the races, and then out of a late entry into Horseshoe, clatters into Telephone, Shamrock, Devil's Dyke, and just about everything else below. So, 7 to go. Kaylee Humphries, 3300s out of the lead, 1100s out of the top 6, the wider podium. Yesterday finished in 7th, 7th in the first heat. Loads like silk, 5:89. She just sinks in there like she's sort of floating in from a parachute. 600's up on Lisa Buchwitz after the start. 600's back because Buchwitz outstarted her by 1900ths of a second. And that velocity will haunt you all the way down. Little tap into Sunny. It's an un-Kaylee mistake. She's going to need every metre of ice to overhaul Lisa Buchwitz. Gaps out to 1200s. Now it's back, and this is where Kaylee will be better. Little tap into Devil's Dyke, but not a big one. And Buchwitz is having a torrid time of it below Horseshoe. Kaylee going much better. Top speed. Gaps down to 600s. This should be the lead for Kaylee Humphries. Fastest speed, 1:31.3. Going to be tight across the line, 100th back. I'm sure Lisa saw that that was coming Kaylee's way. She just didn't quite have a clean enough run. Yeah, a little nod of the head. Okay, comme ci, comme ça. 100th in it. She hates to slip back. Everybody hates to slip back. Little tap here from Snake into Sunny. Most un-Kaylee. And again here, just a little skid into Devil's Dyke. Any of those would have cost several hundreds. There you go. Well, should be no worse than 8th. Second place with 6 to go. Next up is one of our medalists from yesterday, Brianna Walker. Bree taking the silver medal yesterday. Only 4th of our starters, so not as quick a track as Alana Myers-Taylor, and certainly not as quick as Keisha Love, who were the other medalists yesterday, both of whom finished ahead of her in the first heat. But that wasn't all of it. Bree didn't have a tidy first run. 5:78 is a good, strong start, only 800 slower than Lisa Buchwitz, the current leader, and she had 3600ths in hand, so most of that remains. Oh, pings away into Nash and Dixon. Oh, and gets the hit on the wall as well. This is not going well for Brianna Walker. Gap at the start was 2800ths. It'll be single digits now. Only the 11th best speed. Late in the forest. 12th best speed. She may not be ahead of Kaylee. This might be 3rd at the line from Brianna Walker. Is she going to cling on ahead of Buchwitz? It seems unlikely. 9th best speed. No, it's not happening. She'll drop to 3rd. Well, Lisa Buchwitz, again, despite a run that she wasn't happy with, turning in a big performance, because those who have followed her down have not been neat and tidy. Ah! And Pierre Ludu shakes his head, and frustration as well when she realises the damage for Brianna Walker. Well, that little tap out of Sunny down to Nash and Dixon didn't help, but that bit of wall that sticks out, they need to go and shave that away. If the track workers won't do it, the athletes need to. It's causing all sorts of problems.
Not my day.
That really isn't. Certainly not the day that yesterday was, where she was the silver medalist. Next up is Kim Kalicki. 5th after the first heat, and this is where all the action starts. 1600ths off the lead. Lauren Ultra in second is 1300ths off the lead. We've got 4 sleds covered by 400ths of a second. This is a free-for-all. 584. Well, she knows she needs every 100th. She finds 2 at the start. Now, Lisa Buchwitz will be watching this with extreme interest. 2800ths up at the start, but so too was Brianna Walker. 2700, she's holding her advantage. The worst bit of the run is over the minute Kalicki sits down. Good height in Horseshoe. Little flop off telephone, skids from Shamrock, Devil's Dyke, double tap all over the place. That might have cost her That might really have cost her. She's gone from 2700s to 1700s. What's the speed looking like? This is going to be very tight at the line. I'm not entirely sure she's got enough. Top two are covered by 100th. Where's Kalicki? Just in front. 1:11.51. She leads with 4 to go. No medal guaranteed for Kalicki, but she is ahead of Lisa Buchwitz. It's Kalicki, Buchwitz, Humphries, the top three with 4 to go. But this nearly torpedoed her completely. How did she gather that all back up? Skin of her teeth, but I think any hope of potential medal for Kalicki has gone. Now then, what about Deborah Annan? Yesterday, 4th after first heat, got leapfrogged and eased down to 5th place. 4th after the first heat today. 1500ths out of the lead. 100th out of the medals. Anything is possible today for Deborah Annan. If she has a good second heat, who knows? 5:85 getaway, 400s quicker than her first. Again, one of the tallest of the athletes. She's long and lean, and she sits low and well back, and she knows this track. Well, it hasn't had too many official races on it, but she will have done a lot of trips here in St. Moritz. Little tap down into Nash and Dixon. Must be clean here. Is clean. Up to Horseshoe. She'll have big height. She's got great height. Good landing. 700s back. 3rd best speed. She must be ahead of Kalicki here to stand any chance of a medal. She is ahead of Kalicki. Not the best speed in the forest. It's going to be very tight at the line. She was only 100th in front of Kalicki in the first heat. Little tap going down into Martineau. 3rd best speed. Little tap into Portago. Red or green? Red or green? 2 tenths up. Wow. 1:11.32. It was a 1:11.23 first heat. Deborah Annan did not slip. She leads. Is it a medal? Beautiful Horseshoe. Just removing the overnight frost from the woodwork. And watch the runners. Not a big haul off, just rolls it off. Well, her dad will be proud of that. Now then, game is on for the medals. It's Deborah Annan, or Keisha Love, or Laura Nolte, or Alana Myers-Taylor. It can't be all, it could be all 4. It could be all 4. What am I talking about? We could have a dead heat. 5:70, great starting from Keisha Love. And what a first run she had. And look at the velocity, best of all. Well, she was 100th ahead of Deborah Annan from the first heat. She's over a quarter of a second on top of that now. Little rocking and rolling through Snake 1 and 2. No tap down to Sunny, no tap out of Sunny. Cleaner than Kaylee Humphries. Still a quarter of a second up. Clean down to Horseshoe. Good height. Silent landing. She flows down this track the way Alana does. 2nd best speed. Still over 2 tenths in the bank. 2400s up. It's a medal for Keisha Love. Yesterday's bronze medalist will take another bronze medal at least here. 6th best speed, but she will have the lead over Deborah Annan. She's in the medals. 1:11.07.
Nice.
1500s better than her first heat. And injuries among the coaches. All right, yesterday was her first bronze. She's got 2 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze now. What colour has she just added? Well, at the very least, it'll be her first double medal winning Monobob weekend. Yeah, she should be feeling the love. Moves into the leader's box. 2 to go. One of whom is our double world champion. Crashed out of the Women's Worlds here in 2023, recovered with the World Championship in Monobob, won it again in Winterberg last winter. Ooh, little uncomfortable, 577. Little uncomfortable, kink 1. 3rd best velocity off the 5th best start. So maybe it wasn't that uncomfortable after all. 100 ahead of Keisha Love from the first heat. Started 700 slower than the American. Now she has to outdrive her. Oh, big tap into Nash and Dixon. Avoids the wall. In the green as she comes to horseshoe. Not big height. Little tap landing out of horseshoe. Tap into Devil's Dyke. Speed's going away. Keisha Love was faster. And it's showing 6th best speed. She's recovering some of her composure. This could be a dead heat at the line. It's going to be very close. No, it's not. Mistake down there. Only the 7th best speed. Keisha Love will be the leader with 1 to go. We will have an American winner. 1:11.24. 300 slower than her first heat. Lauren Alter is in the medals after finishing 9th yesterday. Actually looks even worse today than she did yesterday. But giving it everything, and still another day of competition. And then travel day on Monday. She's not getting a lie-in.
Well done.
Big hug from Keisha Love, risking the infection.
Time to rest.
Time to rest, not much time. Well, straight home to bed now, I should think. So we'll have an American winner, but whom? Well, Alana Myers-Taylor has 1400ths of a second in hand from the first heat over teammate Keisha Love. Keisha Love 2 times a race winner in Monobob. Alana Myers-Taylor once a race winner in Monobob, and that was yesterday here in her happy place. Here we go. 581, starts 1100 slower. She's got 300s in the bank. It's a dead heat. It is a head-to-head race. A 10th behind Keisha. That's that extra start velocity that Keisha brought. Just avoids the tap into Snake. Avoids the tap into Sunny. Gaps back down to only 800ths of a deficit. Neat into Nash and Dixon. Just scares the bump on the wall. Beautiful horseshoe telephone. Nicely into Shamrock. Smoothly onto Devil's Dyke. Fastest sled. Out of Devil's Dyke. Little skid into Nameless. In the green. Best speed from Alana Myers-Taylor. 69 miles an hour and accelerating hard. Down towards the final corner. It's going to be a double winning weekend. 81.6 miles an hour. Out of Portago. She is the winner for the 2nd time. 1:11.07. And for the first time, it is a USA 1-2. A 2nd win for Alana Myers-Taylor in Monobob. Her 21st career World Cup victory in both disciplines. And her 2nd straight gold medal day here in St. Moritz. Well, Nick, Nico and Noah will be watching somewhere. Congratulations, booyah indeed. Congratulations to Alana Myers-Taylor. Everyone loves this place, but few love it more than Alana. For all sorts of reasons. She drives well here, it flows for her, and of course it's got that romantic association for the 2013 Worlds, where boyfriend Nick got down in the awards ceremony on one knee and asked her to marry him. Well, that was a golden day.
I love you, Nico. I love you, Noah. Thank you, Malia. I love you, Mom and Dad.
And this is two. What a day for Alana Myers-Taylor. What a couple of days, and still one more day of competition. The USA 1-2. Lauren Alter on the podium. Yesterday was the first podium without a German slider on it for quite a long while. Tabor Annan fourth, ahead of Kim Kilicki and Lisa Buchwitz, with Kaylee, Brianna Walker, Katy Bile and Margot Bock rounding out the top 10. Melissa Lottholtz, Linda Wyszewski, Adele Nickel, Sylvia Hoffman, ahead of Cynthia Peer, Andrea Greco, Kelly van Petegem, Ling Cheng and Victoria Ternanska, with Mel Hasler not starting here, unfortunately. Well, hopefully Mel will be feeling a little fitter for the women's bobsleigh race tomorrow. I don't think Alana is going to need much physio or psyching up for tomorrow. She will go in the women's race tomorrow morning. That will be early again, a 9 AM start. And Alana will have Emily Renner behind her in tomorrow's race. And she has got to be among our favourites. So Alana Myers-Taylor, Keisha Love and Lauren Alter, your happy podium finishers here. World Cup 6 of the season. So, among the mighty mountains, Lisa Buchwitz, Lauren Alter, Brianna Walker, Alter climbing back ahead of Bree after Bree overhauled her yesterday. Keisha Love fourth in the World Cup standings ahead of Kim Kilicki, and Alana Myers-Taylor up to sixth place with 2 gold medals in the space of 24 hours, because they started half an hour later yesterday, so she won half an hour earlier today than she did yesterday. It's the little details, isn't it, that suddenly occur to you. Well, there you go. Those are the 28 sliders who competed so far in our World Cup this season. And it'll be the women's bobsleigh up tomorrow morning, but at midday local, 11 GMT, 0600 Eastern, we have the first of a pair of 4-man races, and that will be in 40 minutes from now. Don't go far away, we'll see you then.